Lecture 2. Towards the Mountain. Life is not easy. The journey ahead of us is fraught with struggles, hardships, and moments that test our soul. Yet this is not something to fear or avoid. Instead, it is something to accept. For the road we walk is the same road that shapes our growth. In this lecture, we will explore how to face the tallest mountain you will ever climb, your own personal growth, the acceptance of suffering, and the discovery of your higher self. The first truth is simple. Life will be hard. There is no path that doesn't involve struggle. You may face obstacles, endure loss, experience pain, and feel like giving up. But this is not abnormal. It is simply life. You will gain hope, and your hope will be crushed. We often want to avoid suffering, but in doing so, we miss the opportunity for growth. The mountain you are about to climb will be the tallest mountain you have ever seen, and it will require everything you have. But this is not something to fear. Instead, you must really want to embrace the challenge and view it as something that will keep you growing. So how do we live in hardship? We do it by detaching from the ego towards the higher self. The ego is often selfish, the higher self unselfish. So when you suffer, say to yourself, "My ego is suffering today." Isn't that interesting? Become aware of the fact you are not all your thoughts. When you have found your higher self and answered your internal questions, it gets easy to confront the world because you are internally driven, not externally driven. By accepting in advance it's going to be hard and imagining in all the ways it will be hard, you will take away its power. This is the power of visualizing the hard things before they happen. You stop caring about them because you have already foreseen them and decided to pay the price. It even goes further than visualization. When we visualize both the good and the bad outcomes, what we are really doing is running a simulation, simulating our actions and the choices we take. So we only have to automate them when things come along. But furthermore, imagining that the bad can happen too, all the hardship and resistance, makes us more likely to continue because we were realistic about what the journey would mean from the start, what it takes to scale a large mountain and to overcome ourselves, what it will cost. Carl Jung, in his work on the shadow and the process of individuation, offers a powerful perspective on confronting struggle. Jung believed that the key to personal growth is acknowledging the parts of ourselves that we often repress or deny, the aspects of our personality that we deem dark or undesirable. By confronting and integrating these shadow aspects, we become whole. We transcend the limits of the ego and achieve self-actualization. This is not an easy path, but it is the one that leads to true strength. There is a quote from Jung: "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Let me repeat that. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Jung suggests that the journey to the mountain requires confronting both light and dark within us. Integrating these elements leads to growth and authenticity. Ask yourself, what is the bad habits, weaknesses, and shadow aspects of yourself that if mastered or let go of would propel you forward? When we accept and integrate our inner darkness, the mountain before us no longer seems as insurmountable. The struggle becomes part of our journey toward wholeness. Viktor Frankl, a survivor of the Holocaust and the founder of logotherapy, offers a profound insight into suffering. Frankl argued that the search for meaning is a core human drive, and even in the most extreme suffering, we have the power to find purpose. He suggested that our attitude towards suffering determines how we experience it and how well we can resist it. Frankl himself wrote, When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. In this context, suffering is not something to flee from, but something to confront and transform by finding meaning in it. Another quote from Frankl goes, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." By framing hardship as an opportunity for inner transformation, Frankl teaches us that we are not victims of suffering, we are agents of our own response to it. Another famous philosopher had a philosophy very similar. It was Friedrich Nietzsche with his philosophy of the will to power. He reminds us that struggle is not just inevitable, it is a part of the life's purpose. For Nietzsche, hardship is not something to be avoided, but something to be embraced. It is through struggle that we overcome ourselves and grow into our true potential. Nietzsche's philosophy tells us that the pain we face in life is not an obstacle to our happiness, but a tool for self-transformation. The most difficult journeys, the hardest climbs, are where we find our strength. Nietzsche also said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." And a really famous quote from Nietzsche also goes like this, "Out of life's school of war, what does not kill me makes me stronger. What does not kill me makes me stronger. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This aligns perfectly with the idea that the mountain you're about to climb is not here to defeat you, but to force you into something greater. Your capacity to endure hardship is where your true power lies. When you have truly found your higher self, the part of you that is connected to something greater, something eternal, it becomes much easier to confront the world. The world's challenges no longer seem as overwhelming because you are no longer externally driven, you are internally driven. When you are led by your higher self, you are not swayed by the ups and downs of external circumstance. You find peace within regardless of what is happening around you. This inner strength allows you to rise above the constant waves of life that crashes into your shore. One of the most powerful ways to deal with difficulty is to accept it before it comes. Imagine in great detail all the ways life will be difficult. Envision the struggles you'll face, the times you'll be defeated, tired or uncertain. By imagining hardship in advance, you take away its power. You no longer fear the future, for you have already mentally prepared yourself for the challenges. You stop resisting what is inevitable and instead embrace it with calm determination. When you accept that the path will be hard, it no longer seems impossible. Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy of the will to power speaks directly to the idea of overcoming struggle. For Nietzsche, life itself is an ongoing struggle, and the key to flourishing lies in our ability to embrace and harness the struggle. Instead of seeing hardship as something that diminishes us, we should see it as an opportunity for self-overcoming and the ability to transcend our current limitations. And in it all, we will find that we become greater versions of ourselves. Through hardship, we become who we truly are. As Jung reminds us, true strength comes from integrating all parts of ourselves, even the dark and painful aspects. And meanwhile, Frankl teaches us that the meaning we find in suffering determines its power over us. Both philosophers point to the eternal transformation that is required in order to face the mountain ahead. When we are internally driven, when we find meaning and strength within ourselves, the external struggle loses its power over us, it stops to define us. As you set out on this journey, understand that the mountain is steep. It is the tallest one you will ever face, because it was a mountain created by yourself. There will be moments when you question whether you can go on, but by accepting this in advance, by recognizing that hardship is part of the journey, you empower yourself to climb with confidence. Detach from the ego and focus on the higher self. Know that every step you take, no matter how difficult, is a step toward becoming the person you are meant to be. The mountain will stop seeming insurmountable, for you will climb it not with fear, but with an unwavering internal strength. I'll leave you with a warning from Jung. You are what you do, not what you say you will do. Let me repeat that. You are what you do, not what you say you will do. Maybe it's time you stop talking about all the things you will do and actually start confronting and walking the mountain. He also had another quote. I am not what happened to me. I am what I chose to become. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. And now let me give you a little bit of hope from Frankl and Nietzsche. Suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. Suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. Think about that. That was written by Frankl, a man who survived a Nazi death camp, the Holocaust, who went through all these concentration camps. He said suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. He saw that in the people that survived the concentration camps and those who didn't. Now let me continue with the quote by Nietzsche. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." In short, he who has a why can bear the how. This was the end of lesson 2. I hope you found it useful. If you want to get lesson 3 when it comes out, be sure you subscribe right now. And lesson 1 is already on the channel and you can go and find it there. This will be a part of a 12-part series. There will be 12 lessons in total in this beginner series. I hope you stay safe out there and take care.